especially if you're a student or if you're a young adult or if you're currently working at a company and you want to transition from being a freelancer. It's really possible. My story of being a freelancer before I became a video editor, before I actually give my services to my clients in the very first place, I started from the ground. I started learning, and then I started from nothing. I don't actually know where to start. Those experience in mind is actually a sign that you are making something possible, right? Being a freelancer is about having an uncertainty at the very first start until you get the result. So being a freelancer could be a lot of requirement when it comes to your mindset, when it comes to how you as a freelancer, when it comes to finding clients. Most of them they're actually struggling on how to find clients. So I'm actually going to teach you how to transition from a freelancer to a freelancer back to zero. So the first thing that you need to consider is your mindset. Mindset is one of the biggest powerful asset when it comes to the business. If you have the wrong mindset and the belief systems that you actually do, if you don't practice affirmation or even just play it on your earphone or AirPods, Jethro and so forth, and you're just like listening to upbeat music that will give you a temporary motivation or motivational videos or speakers, then actually you're just setting yourself in a very temporary place where you will succeed in the very short term, and then you'll just end up like giving up. So mindset is a very important thing. It's the foundation of every business owners. It's the foundation of every good things that happen. Every big businesses start from an idea. In my students, they've had a lot of self-doubt, They view, although they are risk takers, but they lack self-discipline or self-beliefs in themselves. Because they see this as something that is, it's impossible to be a freelancer. Actually, it's not. If you learn how to have the right skills, the right mind in terms of your freelancing journey, this would be a very crucial for you to actually grow as a freelancer. Because in the very first place, you want to be really a freelancer. You know what it takes to be a freelancer. Are you actually prepared for the challenges that heads on the way of being a freelancer? If the answer is yes, then practically this is for you. But in the very first place, if you're not passionate or if you're unsure or you lack clarity and purpose of being a freelancer, I don't know any reason why you should start a freelancing journey. Freelancing journey requires a lot of time. The capital is the skill and the time. It doesn't require a lot of money. It doesn't require a lot of investment or zero at all. All it requires is an internet, a laptop, and a skill. Actually, on my students, one of the biggest mistake they commit is having multiple skills and mastering multiple skills. Do you know the quote like, you can't catch two bunnies and just yourself? You have to actually focus on one. That's niche. Focusing on directly on one specific skill to one specific client. And if you actually start very broad or multiple skills, you'll end up not targeting anything, or you'll end up not having any progress at all. Because at the very first place, you didn't have the right skill, the specific skill that you can offer to your specific client. If you're not specific, you're targeting nobody. You're targeting a very general target market, which ends up declining your offer. So I do recommend that think of the one skill that you need to serve for your clients, and then you'll create your own niche, right? The next thing that we need to do is to actually investing in continuous learning. Mine, I actually started from YouTube videos, then I transitioned from reading books all over, because I do know the importance of reading books. Reading books for me was actually, I was able to retain much more information as long as I apply it. As long as I'm interested in that book, at the very first start, you're going to hate reading books. But after you actually confounded that, after you build a foundation where you're actually passionate at reading books, then you'll end up going to succeed in the long term. This reading books is one of the best investment or habits that you can do, personally for me. And you may be asking, how does reading a book connect to starting a freelancing journey, to being a freelancer? Well, there's a lot of topics on how to market your services. There's a lot of topic on how to develop a personal brand. But it all starts by reading a book. If you're struggling with habits, then I do recommend making a foundation where you read self-improvement books and then you expand those topics into much more deeper ones like marketing, business, etc. and so forth. So you start first in investing yourself before investing in other topics. When it comes to financial preparation or financial literacy and stuff, it actually starts from you. If you can't manage your finances, if you can't discipline yourself, then you can't manage your people, and then you can't manage the finances, revenues of your business. business. It all starts from ourselves. So I do recommend you start like maybe saving it up. The most basic thing about financial planning is actually saving up a percentage of your income, whether it's your allowance from your mother or whether it's from your job, etc. and so forth. Or if you don't really have a source of income, it's more about budgeting, allocating your expenses to certain areas. I know it's going to be hard, but that's the start of financial literacy or financial management. And you may be asking, do I really need debt management, debt literacy, or how to actually take loans? My answer is not. Taking a loan is very risky. Taking a loan requires a lot of risks, and that risk could be deadly, like a ticking bomb. So before you actually take a loan, you have to understand how to build a business, how to invest in the business, and then you'll actually do how to get clients and then how to get debt. That's for an agency owner. I'm just assuming that you're a young adult or you're a student, etc. and so forth. You don't have to get into debt. You just have to manage your time or delegate the task to someone else or partner with someone. Marketing is about understanding the industry that you want to serve. For example, you want to start a digital marketing agency, then understand what is the industry of marketing. So basically, industry is a group of companies that are providing services for a market. So industry is a group of people or companies giving the same services to clients. So if you learn how to research, maybe in the very bare minimum Google, researching what is it like to have a landscape where we actually provide our services in this type of industry, you'll end up being more competitive by certain percentage. That's it. For me personally, when it comes to networking, most of the things that I do remember, if my student can't afford my mentorship, what are you actually going to do is going to partner with me, exchange my mentorship services to their work. Maybe they can help with managing my clients. Maybe they can help in video editing my raw videos, etc. and so forth. So they're interested to actually have a mutual connection, a mutual partnership where I get to give them an experience and a mentorship for free, and then they give me their services in exchange for their time, for their talents and skills. So that's mutual partnership actually from my student and me is I get to benefit their work, contribute to the company, invest it to the company, and they get to experience, right? They get to understand the industry. They get to understand what is it like to be a freelancer or to be an agency owner, or they get to discover their talent or enhance it even more. So I do recommend that you actually do it. But it really requires a lot of experience and communication skills. Have you actually built an online presence? Online presence nowadays is like an entertainment or an investment. Which one are you? For mine, from now on, I view Instagram, Facebook, any social media platform that you can think of as a business, all right? If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a freelancer, view it as a business. Maybe you can get like a separate account for your personal account. I do recommend that you actually create your own professional or business account separated from your personal account if you don't want to get affected. But for me, everything is a business now, and even social media itself is a business to get your attention, retention, and then get that attention, convert them to ads, and then they get paid. So social media now is a machine money generating platform for its owners. So if that's the anatomy of social media, why not counter it with another anatomy where you use it as a business? Again, you're watching this because you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be a freelancer, then view everything as a business, right? You know your boundaries. You can always create another one. But if you really want to start freelancing, you have to start with personal branding. Personal branding, which means this is, in simple terms, personal branding is where you post content or videos related to the services that you want to provide, but with the sole goal to educate people, not to sell stuff. Right? I see a lot of my students selling stuff in their personal branding. I do not call it personal branding. I call it personal selling. So that's the difference. It's like 80% content, 20% selling. All right? Don't interchange that. If you really want attention, grab attention by entertaining and educating people. A practical tip for actually time management is to starting with like small habits or reading books related on building small habits. I do recommend Atomic Habits for that. When it comes to time management, it's like EAT, energy, attention, and time management. So if you want time, then you need energy and attention. If you want attention or focus, you need time and energy. If you want, it's like an equation. If you flip or transpose another one, you create another equation. So that's like time management for me. It's about the management of your energy, the management of your time, and the management of your attention. If you know how to balance these three, then practically you master the time management. Is that it? Then you actually want to create your own flexible schedule, your own workflow system. If you're a student or if you're working part-time or full-time, you have to create your own system. A system is where you can automate your business, automate your workflow, without actually having the necessity to repeat a thing or repeat a task, right? You get systems. You get organized. You know your routine. You know your daily tasks. And you know what to assign in your employees or your intern. You already know everything. Because if, for example, you met this struggle, you already built some systems or routines or preset plans on how to solve that. If you encounter a new customer or a client, you already know what to do. You already have a specific page or an instruction to your employee and just send it up. Or you already have templates or contracts that is already made for your clients. That's systems. So I do want to actually encourage you or recommend you or a must to build your own system. How do you actually start building system? It's about managing your time and managing your tasks. You know, there's a saying that health is wealth. It's actually true. If you can't manage your health in the very first place, then you can't have wealth, because health is the main source of your energy. Health is the main source of your progress. Health is the start of your entrepreneurship journey. If you don't have a good health, then you can't manage a business. You can't manage yourself. You can't do things that you want. So health is a priority. You know the biggest regrets of rich people? Not focusing on their health, right? The biggest regrets of old people is not investing their health. So if you can't invest your health, then you can't incur wealth. You know, this is a simple thing. The simplest thing that you can do to manage your stress, to manage your anxiety, to manage your emotion is not to watch every single video on YouTube, right? You can watch some, you can list some, but my most recommended thing I can actually offer to more is to read, not in PDF form, read Master Your Emotion by Thibault. I hope I pronounced that name. Because everything about procrastination, about stress, about fear, about everything that involves your emotion, that's in one book. And all you have to do is to take notes. And if you face stress, you can just open it up again, and then it can provide you journal notes and action steps. That's simple as it is, you know? If you want to master your business, if you want to master building an agency, you have to master your emotion in the very first place. Emotion is like the very source of action. You can't take action if you depend on your emotion. You can't run a business if you can't run your emotion. I know when it comes to my student, they lack entrepreneurial mindset. They consider this and that. They fear to take risks, and then they end up not achieving anything. So that's really bad. That's really core, and that's really devastating and deadly. So I do recommend, when you want to actually be an entrepreneur, have an entrepreneurial mindset about risk taking. You don't have to take risks, but you have to take calculated risks. Again, there's ChatGTP. There's a lot of resources there. There's no excuse. All you have to do is to manage your risks, take risks, embrace calculated risks, and learn from the failures. In every risk, of course, you're going to commit a lot of mistakes. Creating a level of mistake is not actually bad. It's actually good for you. Mistake is the source of learnings and lessons. The greatest lessons I've learned is from the mistake. Because if you commit a mistake, number one, you will learn. Number two, you will do anything to avoid it. Number three, you will feel regretful about that mistake. And then you'll be motivated to change something. The more you commit mistake, the more you experience a lot of bad emotions. And that bad emotions create your motivation to fire up yourself. And when it comes to creating goals, you have to make it after you achieve something small, you reward yourself. You start with in the very, very small. That's the smallest thing that you can do. I probably know that you're not planning yourself. Maybe you're planning something else, but not consistent. So I do recommend plan your day. Plan before the day. Every night, you plan to allocate 15-30 minutes. Block your time using Google Calendar. I can give a tutorial on how to do that, but it's important for you that every minute, every second, you actually block your time. There are types of work. The first one is shallow work. The next one is deep work. Shallow work is about managing something maybe urgent but not important, like emails, something about Messenger, or managing people, or anything that doesn't really contribute to your high impact task. You can actually schedule it, not eliminate it. And there's deep work. Actually, like working at the first maybe 1 hour per day without undistracted social media, anything, without complete distraction, maybe without the internet or without some websites that can distract you. Just solely focus on your task in 1 hour. Then 2 hours, then 3 hours, then 4 hours. Right? 4 hours is like the complete deep work, like straight up. I'm not saying like 1 hour, then 30 minutes break, 1 hour, then 25 minutes break. I'm saying like total work, right? You can use Pomodoro technique, but being a freelancer it's more about contributing yourself to deep work. Deep work allows you to concentrate, to like manage your focus, manage your energy, and it creates a willpower that's limited. Really be strategic when it comes to using your focus, attention, and energy. So my last message for those who want to transition from zero to freelancer, right, is to build your skill. Build one valuable skill that you get the market. Number 2, get your dream work client. I actually do it in my coaching program, but I recommend number 2 to create your dream client. And number 3, have the motivation to continuously learn. Never stop learning. Maybe it could be, I'm not saying like 7 times a week, like never stop learning. I'm saying that do it in a sustainable way where you have rest and you have time to learn. For me, I always go to the bus transport. Like it takes like 30 to 45 to 1 hour. I read a book. Yes, I read the book. Even in jeepney, it's like noisy and stuff like that. But I've managed to learn to use my attention to just reading the book despite of having a lot of distractions or noisy people around me. I don't care what people think in the very first place. What I do care is to actually how can I invest my time in the very first place, very efficiently, very wise, and very impactful for my self-improvement. So that's it.